This might take a while to record because I have to make sure that you get my voice and not little babies. So this is a collaboration with Matt and Lola. Specifically, this is a collaboration with Lola of Young and Engaged, a YouTube channel that I will link down there. We are gonna say 5 things that no one tells you about postpartum. I think that nowadays we're very lucky that there's a lot of information out there on the internet, that there's not a lot of mystery when it comes to postpartum issues, things you can expect. But there are a couple of things that I always tend to forget. Now I've had 5 kids. Each of them were coincidentally 5 years apart, so that's just enough time for me to forget what it's like to be postpartum. So, things that you don't always think about being postpartum. Number 1. Now, it's pretty obvious that going to the bathroom is going to be an issue postpartum, especially if you've had a vaginal delivery. But it's not necessarily for the reasons that you think. I totally forgot about this, and I found it very difficult when my partner went back to work the Monday after we had our daughter. She was born on a Friday. He took that Friday off to be at the delivery with us. And then Saturday, Sunday went very smoothly because he was there to help, and he was an amazing help. I couldn't have done it without him. But then Monday came and I had to do everything by myself, which is really hard with a newborn. They sleep a lot, but they don't tend to sleep by themselves. They'll sleep on you, by you, and whatever. When you go to the bathroom postpartum, it's a process. You need to get your peri bottle prepared, and you need to have it the right temperature. You need to change things in your underwear. You probably need to change your underwear because there's a lot of cuteness. There's a lot of cute. Hello. Bonjour. Da, 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 da. Okay, this is going to be a little TMI, but you have to take your pads, wrap them up, properly dispose of them. You got to get the new pads set up. Meanwhile, you also have to get your peri bottle ready. You have to get over the fear of initiating the pee stream, if that's what you're doing. Alternately, you have to get over the fear of letting go of, other things, so to speak. And while you're there, you know what? Your boobs are probably leaking too, so you're gonna have to change the pads that are in your bra. And maybe even give yourself a little bit of a wash down on your breasts, because sour milk it's not fun. So that's the first thing that people don't really tell you, is how much time it actually takes to make one single trip to the bathroom. And you want to be peeing every 1 to 2 hours. Your bladder's suddenly huge. You had this huge belly like pressing on it before, and now it's like it's free to roam. It's got a lot of space in there. So you're gonna have to, try and train yourself. So you want to go to the bathroom frequently, but it takes a long time to go to the bathroom, just for a simple pee. So if you don't have anybody home with you to help watch the baby, it can be quite a daunting task. Fortunately, bouncy chairs are portable, and I think they're incredibly handy to have around if you're by yourself, and I definitely made use of the bouncy chair. Although going to the bathroom when somebody is crying at you, that doesn't get easier, just for the record. This 10-month-old, she screams so hard when I go to the bathroom. I feel like I have to write her an apology letter every time. Like, I'm sorry I shut the door on you. Okay, number 2. Your back is completely unsupported. You have no ab muscles anymore. You went from like this big taut muscle to being just completely loose and limber. It takes a while for that to go back together. So while that's happening, if you don't know, you probably do, but your back is mostly supported by your ab muscles, your core muscles. And all of your core muscles are pretty much just not there anymore, so your back is gonna hurt a lot. Especially considering that you're gonna be contorting while you're holding your baby, especially if you're breastfeeding. On top of that, you're probably holding your baby all of the time. So you have that extra weight, you have no ab muscles, and your back's totally unsupported, so it's gonna be really sore. So for that reason alone, I really recommend belly binders. I don't recommend them for the vanity reasons. I'm not sure if they work or not. I've always had decent genetics that way. I use the belly binders just for the support, the ab support and the back support that they provide. Number 3, this is the fun one. Whether or not you had symphysis pubis dysfunction in pregnancy like I had, your pubic bone's gonna hurt and it feels really funky, like really weird. Because you're like, I'm holding the camera so I can't demonstrate it, but you know your pelvis has 2 bones that wrap around and attach at your spine. And in the center, by your pubic mound, there's like a tiny little space there, and when you're giving birth, or when you're pregnant even, it separates ever so slightly in pregnancy. When you're delivering, it opens a lot. I probably exaggerated that. It opens a little bit to allow the baby to pass through. And then it goes back to normal. But while you're breastfeeding, your ligaments are still quite lax. So every time you lay down, your pelvis kind of shifts just ever so slightly, and you might get this pang of pain going on. And then that's amplified when you're breastfeeding and your uterus is involuting or going back to its natural size, and it contracts. And it contracts more when you're breastfeeding. So you've got the cramping from the uterus, and then you have the panging, then you have the sharp pain from the pubic bone, and yeah. The pubic bone pain was the one that caught me off guard the most, because nobody told me about that one. I heard about the uterine pain, but not the pubic bone pain. So there's that. And I'm 10 months out, and I still have issues with my pelvis. And I know I'm going to have issues with my pelvis until I am done breastfeeding, and until I go and see my physical therapist again. Number 4, you're going to be starving. Like, starving. Your stomach goes from like this big, because, well, that's actually the size of your stomach, but your stomach's going to be like itty bitty from the big giant belly that you had in you before, and now there's all this room. You're going to have all this room, and if you're like me, and you've had constant nausea and vomiting throughout your pregnancy, suddenly you can eat, and oh my God, does it feel good to eat. Nom 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 nom. You're so hungry. Even when you eat like a motherhood at its finest right there. Is that good? So even after you've eaten, you're still gonna be like, oh, I'm still hungry. Because not only is your stomach like back to a normal stretchy size, you can eat anything you want, unless you're breastfeeding, then you still have like some precautions. But you have all this extra energy going into healing. Your body's in a state of inflammation, which means that it benefits from extra protein and extra nutrients, because you have your tissues, your sensitive tissues are healing, your uterus is inflamed and going back to a normal position, your ab muscles are rebuilding themselves and going back into their normal positions. You're going to be losing a lot of blood volume, like natural blood volume. You're going to be losing a lot of water weight. You're going to be losing a lot of hormones that are going to get flushed through you. You've got all this stuff going on. You need a lot of nutrition. And then you're gonna start making your colostrum, you're gonna start making your breast milk, whether or not you're breastfeeding, it's gonna come in, God willing. So that's why it's so important to have a whole bunch of meals and snacks ready to grab. This brings me to number 5. It is really hard to do anything with a newborn. It's hard to do anything with a baby. Number 5 is the 4th trimester. Have you heard of it? It means that babies essentially do not want to be alone. They don't want to be put down. They don't want to sleep by themselves, because the only thing they know so far is you, your body, your heartbeat, your everything. So if you try and make them sleep by themselves, they're going to think something's wrong. It's not that they're bad babies or anything. Their natural instinct is to think, oh my God, my mom's gone, or my guardian is gone. Something must be wrong. So when you try and get your baby to sleep by himself or herself, probably not going to work. It's not their nature to be asleep by themselves. You can get them to sleep on you, and then you'll try transferring them, and oh my God, they wake up. Of course they do. It's their job. Their job is to be incredibly clingy, and it's their job to be right beside you or right on you. All three of my kids slept right beside me in bed. I don't recommend you do that because it's not recommended, but every other culture in the world does it. Just saying. When you think about it, babies have spent the last 9 months listening to your heartbeat, listening to you breathe, being by your warmth. You're all they know. And then if you remove them from you, they're going to know that. And they're going to not know what the heck is going on. And instinctually, they're going to cry and be upset about it. So if you haven't researched it, I highly recommend you Google the 4th trimester. I had a really hard one. This girl. Yeah, girl. She cried for hours at a time. She was just such a crank ball. Oh my gosh. But she's here and I'm happy and she's healthy. So that's all that matters. That and my sanity. That also matters. That's gonna wrap up my list of 5 things that nobody tells you about postpartum. And I'm gonna encourage you to go check out Lola at YoungAndEngaged. And stay tuned. I'm hoping to get more videos up. I'm gonna do a little bit of a different take. I'm gonna take on more of a social commentary kind of role and take a look at some sciencey things. My mom has had chronic illness for years, so she's always into like these new age kind of weird things, and I'm always like off put by them. Like, what the heck? You know, I work in healthcare. I'm a Western girl, Western medicine girl, but then I look into the things that she's into and I research them and they actually make sense. So I kind of want to talk about those things with you guys in a very unbiased way, or I'm going to try to be unbiased anyway. So stick around if you want to see what that is all about. Some topics include cold therapy. That's the new one right now. Cold showers. I've been trying it and I am loving it. So yeah, stick around for that one. Cheers! It was fun making this video. Talk to you guys soon. There we are. Hello! Oh! This is not a vlogging camera whatsoever. This is a digital single lens reflex camera. But it's all I've got, so I'm gonna use it with my buddy here. She's a very intense baby. She doesn't give me a break. Nope. Babies at 10 months are supposed to be sleeping through the night for 10 to 12 hours. You're supposed to have a total of 2.5 hours worth of a nap every day. Yeah, and I think she slept about 6 hours in the past 24, so she's doing her own thing. She is. Yes, and I am exhausted. So tired, but the show must go on for me. The show must go on.
At the same time, I'm overwhelmed. I need sleep. Girl, let me sleep. Let me sleep. Hey, Mr. Cute.